Manchester's finest, Brendan Loughnane, who is gearing up for his semi-final bout at the PFL $1 million tournament. How are things with you, my friend?
Not bad at all, mate. Not bad. 3 weeks to go to the next one. Can't wait.
Who have you primarily been training with in the lead up to this fight?
I've moved out to Vegas for this camp. Just because there's sheer bodies here, mate. Everyone's in Las Vegas at the minute training, so I'm out here at the minute, and so far so good. It's been a great camp so far.
I look at you and I see you over there in Syndicate and Alliance, and you almost remind me of like the English Roan. You know, like the lone samurai who's just out there doing his own thing.
I'm just like a nomad, mate. I've been all over the planet. You name it, I've been in their gym. You name the champion in the UFC, I've sparred them. Do you know what I mean? I've been everywhere, mate. There's not much I've done in this sport so far.
Well, listen, mate, you've got a good training partner in Dom Cruz. I always see you two together. I'd love to see them spars and them training sessions, believe me.
Mate, they're intense. And, you know, even now when I get over to this syndicate, there's just so many good 45ers knocking around. And who was I training with yesterday? Jeremy Kennedy, Julian Erosa, some other guy, like there's just 40 like real good name 45ers everywhere to train with, so it's great. Do
you go to Extreme Couture at all?
No, I don't go over there just because I know that Movlid's been over there, and you know all the Russian lads are over there, so I just didn't want to conflict with interest really.
Yeah, probably best. I remember speaking to Cody Stamen, and he said Merab was in there at a similar time to him. You know, when they were booked to fight Merab, and
that's what I mean. Like,
yeah,
you can't do it, mate. You can't do it, mate. You're better off just doing it elsewhere. There's so many gyms to train at. Like, you just don't need to be in the same gym at the same time the guy you're fighting, do you?
Yeah. Out of interest, do you have a plan on when you plan to get back over here, or is it just see how it goes?
Yeah, mate, I'm just here for work. Like, I don't particularly like being in the States. I don't particularly like being here. Just this is where I get the best work. So, well, Thailand was getting great work there, but then that shut its borders. So it's been unfortunate, really. So, I mean, yeah, I've ended up here, and it's been difficult, mate, being away. I've been off seeing my family since September 2020. It's been difficult, mate. It's been a hard road, and you know, I've just rented a room out in Vegas. I'm just in here, mate, just back and forward to the gym 3 times a day, chasing this shit.
Yeah, it's the life of a fighter, isn't it? I suppose, but you know,
that's it.
Everyone says sacrifice, but as you say, not seeing your family for a year is the ultimate sacrifice.
People say sacrifice, mate, but who's really sacrificing out here? Who's really leaving the family? Who's really putting himself in the fire every day? Let's have it right.
Yeah,
a lot of people are quick to say that word, but who's willing to do it?
That's it, mate. That is it. Let's get straight into it. Let's talk about it. 17-0-1. Movlid Khaybulaev. How do you view his style in comparison to yours?
Mate, he's great. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say he's a shit fighter. He's a great fighter, but so am I. So am I, mate. And like, he's never fought anyone with my kind of striking. You know, his matchups this season were favourable to him. They really were. I mean, the first guy, terrible, brought in on short notice. Do you know what I mean? And the second guy, Lance Palmer. Lance Palmer's cashed out, really, hasn't he? Let's have it right. He's cashed out. He's fighting a young, hungry lion, mate. Hungry as fuck. Like, that's who he's fighting in this one. It's going to be a totally different fight to them ones.
The obvious analysis of this fight is going to be Movlid's going to try and get you to the floor. I think that's fair to say. And we've talked about this. I remember the last time we spoke that people still to this day underestimate your wrestling. So it's you would presume something's got to give, and we've probably got to see a little bit of your wrestling in this fight.
I mean, not offensively, you won't. No, but you'll see me trying to punch his head in, mate. Like that's without a doubt. I'll be punching and kicking him as hard as I can, mate. And you know, 17-1, but I've seen him be hurt, mate. And if you can be hurt, I will hurt you.
Yeah. What is it like fighting an undefeated fighter? Because obviously he's got the draw, but there isn't much to go off in terms of a game plan, in terms of how to beat him.
I've done it before, mate. I've fought prospects before. I fought Tom Duquesnoir. I fought this Bilal Joe in the Contender. Like, there's no, you know, like at my stage, mate. I'm 21-3 now. I've had 7 amateur fights. What I've seen every style you can possibly throw at me from every corner of the world, mate. Like, this is not going to be anything new to me. It might be new to some of these other guys that he's fighting, but I've been there and seen it all. I've trained with these type of fighters. Like, I was in Tiger Muay Thai sparring them on a daily basis. I know how good they are. I know what they're capable of, but I know what I'm capable of. So let's not forget me. I'm the fucking top seed in this tournament. I'm the one that's been flying through people. I'm the one with the confidence. And you barely scraped through it, mate. You come in the 4th place and just got into the semis. And it's like, everyone's forgetting. They're putting me as a 3-1 underdog again, mate. When will these bookies start learning?
I really want to ask you about that, because I know you won't be bothered. You'll say it doesn't affect me. But even so, a little party must go, why am I still the underdog?
Mate, Shaman Mariza was the underdog, and look what happened there. 1 minute straight out of the blocks. Like, start learning how good I actually am, mate. It's not just all front and all bollocks. I dedicate my life to this shit, and I'm very good at what I do. And never been knocked out in my whole career, never been submitted in my whole career, been taken down a handful of times in my whole career. So, like, yeah, Movlid, you're great at what you do, but you're going to have to get past my hands first, mate. And not many have been able to do that.
Do you know what it feels a bit like? Did you watch footy at all?
A little bit.
Little bit. Do you know what it's a bit like? Do you know when we get a young English player and they go for much more than the market than if a Spaniard or whatever, because they're the top dog in England? It's almost like the reverse in MMA. The English fighters are always so underrated and always so hushed down compared to the likes of the Russians, who are so hyped up.
Well, look at Leon Edwards, mate. He's going out there and showing everyone how good we are. Darren Till. Look at how many projects, mate. Mohammed Bokir, you name it, mate. Look how many prospects we've got now. You don't have to go to other places now to train. The only reason I did it is PFL brought me here and said, you have to stay here till the tournament's over. The borders are shutting every 2 minutes. So I just found my way here, but you don't have to leave the UK, mate. And we're very underrated at the minute. And I won't be surprised if we've got a few champions next year, this and next year.
Listen, obviously you're not fighting in the UFC, but you don't need to look. You only have to look at that 4th of September card and look at the talent on it, all up and down the country. It's ridiculous.
Exactly.
It really is
amazing.
Yeah, and I look at someone like yourself. To be honest with you, Brendan, I look at all the UFC talent, and you're probably the biggest talent, biggest UK talent outside the outside the UFC. Apologies.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting there now. Well, you look at AJ McKee. He looked great this weekend, mate. Yeah. He looked fantastic.
Yeah.
And he's talking about cross-promotion fights. And it's just, I feel like it's written in the stars for me. 10 out my last 11. And even that one was one of them. 7-fight win streak, knockout of the night, my first performance, fight of the night, my second performance. I've shown everything in this. I've had arms hanging off in other sides of the country. I've had fucking, mate. And then I was fighting for £150 in the beginning. Yeah. You're going to stick $1 million in the mix, mate. Someone's going to have to kill me in there, and that's the truth.
I've got to ask you about that, because you mentioned the fight of the night, and what a fight that was, you versus Tyler Diamond. How, in all honesty, have you watched that fight back, and how doesn't Tyler Diamond go down? How didn't he just quit because you hit him with the kitchen sink? 7
times he hit the floor and got back up, mate. Makes me wonder what kind of supplements these guys are on, but that's another story.
Is that what you think? I think he was just tough as nails. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, he is tough as nails, but some inhuman shit's going on at the minute, mate. Like, how'd you get up and down 7 times? It is what it is. But I mean, I wasn't disciplined in that fight. I didn't have my coach for the first time in my whole career. He's not been in my corner. There was loads of factors going into the fight, and I just fucking went in and had a brawl, mate. I thought, fuck it, let's fight. I didn't even stick to the game plan. I didn't throw one jab. I literally was just banging him all over the place, mate, like it was a good old-fashioned fucking straightener, mate. That's what it was like, wasn't it? And if you want to go down that road, mate, which I know they won't, they're just going to shoot for the fences. I'm as tough as nails, mate. It's going to take a lot to get me out of there, trust me.
In some ways, it's probably comforting knowing your style, because I spoke to Till about this once, and how because everyone knows how good your striking is, everyone, no matter whether they're a Muay Thai fighter, a kickboxer, they're going to probably try and want to get you to the mat. So you obviously, going into every single fight, you know the opponent's strategy to some extent.
Well, here's how I look at it, yeah. I know I'm fighting a wrestler, yeah, who can throw the odd 1 or 2 punches and kicks, but what's the worst that can happen? He's going to hold me down for 15 minutes. What's the worst that could happen to him? He's going to be severely damaged, mate. Look at Shaman and look at Tyler, mate. Like, both having surgery after the fight. Like, I'm in there to hurt you, mate. My style is vicious. It is like, I will throw the kitchen sink at you. I'm not just going to try and There was about 3 or 4 times I could have submitted Tyler. He was putting his neck up. Yeah. He wanted submitting, but I'm not into submitting you, mate. I'm in there for severe damage, and that's what I base my style on. And like, yeah, it's all well and good holding someone down, mate, but who wants to watch that? Who wants to watch that, really, mate? I feel like I'm a fan-friendly fighter, and I want to stay that way for the rest of my career.
100%, couldn't agree more with that assessment, mate. You know, as you said, then knockout of the night and fight of the night. You don't get much more fan-friendly than that. And I'm not kissing your backside when I say that. I'm being totally honest.
Well, it's the truth, mate. The proof's in the pudding. I got the awards. Do you know what I mean? Like,
exactly, yeah, exactly.
And, you know, again, I'll go back to underdog against Shaman. And, like, I was like, wow, these people are crazy. Went out and did that. And then Tyler was the favourite for that fight. But, again, everyone was like, oh, but he's an American wrestler and all that. Mate, the only reason I ended up on my back is making stupid decisions, trying to punch him too much on the floor. If I stepped back and made him stand up, the fight would have been over. Like I say, my discipline went out the window, and that's due to the fact of not having the voice of reason, which is my coach, sat there telling me what to do like he normally does. He would have just said, step back, mate, make him stand up. He won't be able to stand up. Yeah. But I was just like dead set on trying to finish him on the ground and slipping into bad positions. But that won't happen in this fight. I'm going to be much more disciplined and stick to the game plan. Because another thing, what I've got to think is, there's $1 million at the end of this. It's not just one fight. This is a season. Yeah. Like, I can't just be going in there thinking, oh, I'll have a fight. No, you have to be strategic about it as well.
Especially at this stage as well. And the other thing is with the greatest of respect, you take unnecessary damage going into the final. It's not going to serve you well, is it? Especially if, you know, let's just say Bubba can keep hold of Chris Wade for 3 rounds and not take much damage. He's going to be at a natural advantage to one of you or Movlid going in.
I don't think Bubba's took one punch in the whole tournament, has he? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's had very, very, you know, risk averse fights. Let's
let's have it right, mate. He's fought a guy that was brought in on a week's notice, another one who was brought in on a week's notice. Do you know what I mean? And Movlid fought a guy that was brought in on a week's notice. I was the only guy in the second fight to fight anybody that won the first fight. I had a tough outing, do you know what I mean? And Tyler Diamond's no mug. He's only lost to Bryce Mitchell on a split decision at the final of the Ultimate Fighter. Like, won all his fights apart from that. Tyler's no mug, mate. And I went in there and embarrassed him, really. Then let's have it right. Yeah. Like, was punching him all over the cage. That's no disrespect to him. That's what happened. So these people now that look at me and put me as this underdog and think that Movlid's going to walk through me, mate, they're just daft. They're daft, mate. I've never been walked through my whole career, and I don't intend to start now.
Because the other thing about that second part of the tournament is there's guys with a vested interest and there's guys who aren't. So, for example, let's say Bobby Moffat, who Bubba fought, was on 0 points. He basically needed to finish Bubba inside 2. Whereas Tyler Diamond is on 3 points. You're on 6. If he gets a decision over you, he's right in the mix. So Tyler had a much more vested interest in some of these other guys who may have went there for, let's be honest, for the show money.
Yeah, and let's have it right, mate. Movlid pulled out the day of his fight last time. He shouldn't even be in the semi-final. He should be on -1 points like the rest of them that didn't fight. He turned up and went, oh, I'm injured, and got his fight pushed back. And like, I mean, it is what it is. We're fighting at this point, but all of these bookmakers, mate, and all these people that are underestimating me in this fight, mate, you're going to see the best Brendan on this night, and you've never seen a more hungry man in your life, mate. Like, these other fighters don't want it like I want it. And when I sit up on that podium and I say you can all get it, I mean it, mate. I'm like, none of you ain't taking this from me. They don't want it like I want it, and I believe that.
Yeah. Out of interest, I've got to ask, because obviously the focus is Movlid, but you will have an eye on the other semi-final between Chris Wade and Bubba. How do you see that fight going?
Chris Wade shouldn't be in the semi-final either. Chris Wade got beat by Anthony DZ. That's a fact. Got gifted by the judges. You shouldn't even be in here, mate. Like, you got gifted a chance at the semi-final. You should be at home watching us fight, mate. That's what you should be doing, Chris Wade. So, yeah, he snuck in some robbery shit. I don't know how he got in, but, yeah, he looked great in his second fight against the Russian guy. Improved a lot. I was trying to fight Chris Wade, mate. He looked that shit in his first fight. I went, give me him next. I did. Ask my manager, mate. I've got the messages. Give me Chris Wade. Like, I wanted Chris Wade, so for him to start going around and saying he thinks I'm going to lose and I think I should fight, shut up, mate. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Like, you're going to get wrestled to death by Bubba, mate. To say you're going to out-wrestle him, good luck, mate. Like, you might out scramble him, out submit him, out strike him, but to say you're going to go in there and out wrestle him, that's like me saying I'm going to do that to Movlid. I've got no intention of doing that, mate, and it's not a secret, is it? You know what I mean? Like, you're just saying stupid shit now, and that's just the truth.
So what you think Bubba Bite?
I don't know. I really don't know. He's got a lot more experience. He's been in with tougher opposition, and he knows how to win fights. So it's a tough one to call, that one. I'm 50-50 on that fight.
I'll be honest with you. I look at featherweight in terms of these semi-finals going into the PFL finals. I think it's the most competitive of the 6 divisions. I really do. I think there's some divisions. Obviously, maybe the women's divisions are slightly more tilted towards the favourites or whatever. But featherweight, I'll be quite honest, all 4 of you could win this tournament very easily.
Yeah, that's what I mean. PFL haven't messed around this year, mate. They've made some amazing signings. And, mate, whoever's going to win this is going to fucking earn it, mate, because tell you what, they're not easy matchups. None of them have been easy. Well, I say that. Some people have had some favourable matchups, mate. I've not had it easy, and I don't want it easy. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I want to go through the 4 toughest guys to win it, and I mean that with the bottom of my heart.
I believe it. We spoke about this last time, and you said you never had anything in mind as such. Have you thought anything more about that $1 million at the end? Is there anything that you think, if I get that, that's what I want?
Fuck the $1 million, mate. I want the belt so bad. I really do. That's just like, you know, I've had so many knockbacks in my career that I deserve it, mate. I've worked my fucking ass off to get where I am, and I deserve this belt, and I feel like it'll be the icing on the cake when I get it.
If we had to put it on a percentage base, what percentage would you say is getting the belt compared to what percentage is it getting the $100 million?
That's a good question. 80-20, mate. 80-20. Listen, money comes and goes. Money comes and goes out your life, and it always will do. It's a piece of paper at the end of the day we're talking about here, but I'm talking about a lifetime, a 13-year journey, mate, to get to this position. You can't put a price on that. And the knockbacks I've had to take, the injuries and the surgeries and the travelling and the leaving my family and just everything I've had to do to get here, mate. Like, these guys have to kill me. They really do. 3 weeks' time, we'll see again.
Going to be a special moment when you lift that belt in it, mate.
It is, mate. It's going to be emotional. And I've trust me, I've envisioned it and I deserve it.
Well, let's keep the focus to the fight at hand. That's always of paramount importance. Brendan, I don't know if you were a prediction guy last time round, but I want to ask you for a prediction for this semi-final versus Movlid. What happens?
Yeah, I don't really give him, mate, but Movlid's there to be it. He's been hit before, and if I hit you, you stay hit. So that's the plan. Hit him with some cool shit. Don't get hit. Yeah, that's the plan.
Well, as I say, mate, it's always a good thing when Brendan Loughnane's active and fighting, and I think if you want my honest opinion, I think maybe the fan appeal has changed for you over the last 6 months or so. I think people are really, especially over here, people are really excited about you being in action in the semi-final.
Mate, because I don't get to see any of it. Don't forget, I'm just on my own over here. I don't know if anyone watches it. I don't know what's going on over there when everyone talks about it. So yeah, it's good that the country's getting behind me, mate.
Look, as I say, I don't know if you remember, the very first time we spoke was on the press conference, and I remember saying that you're the only Brit in the PFL, and I think that's a very key thing, isn't it? Is a Brit not only the only Brit, but the only Brit who's in with a real chance of winning that gold.
Yeah. No, it's big, mate. It is, and I'm glad you're all catching on to it now.
I don't think I've ever had such a nice set of conversations between a lad from Manchester and a lad from Liverpool. What do you say?
True. Nah, listen, it's all love, mate. We're all one over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we don't watch the footy, so we don't give a toss about that.
Fuck the footy, mate. We're fighters.
Yeah. Well, as I say, mate, very much thank you for your time, and can't wait to see you back.
Mate. Thanks for the interview. Top man.
Before we finish, how can people find you on social media?
Brendan MMA. I've recently just changed that. I had a stupid handle, mate, and no one could ever find me. So, Brendan MMA. Nice and easy.
And one final thing, I give this opportunity to anyone. Anything you want to say or sign off with at all?
Yeah, mate, I want to give a massive shout to Green Life, mate. They've really helped me for this tournament. Constructing Growth's been there from the start. You know, Joe Metro, all the boys. They've really helped me on this journey, and it's a massive thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Can't wait to see you back in action, mate. Thanks for the time.
Top man. Cheers. See you in a bit.